Let me know in chat how good I look. Um, Bunch of people were yelling at me about my beard, and I finally had to get my hair cut. I finally had to get my hair cut. Um, and so yeah, so that's happening. I got a haircut. Um, but yeah, it's good to see everybody. I flipped comments on. I'm looking forward to hopefully hanging out with everyone in a sort of fun and respectful manner and stuff like that. The stream is titled "Make Me a Conservative." If you guys want to do that, the stream is titled "Make Me a Conservative." And so if you guys have arguments, your top arguments, or like what issue, what person I need to know about, why I vote for Kamala so often, why I vote for Kamala so often. But yeah, somebody was making fun of my beard, and so and I start a job tomorrow. I'm supposed to start a job tomorrow. I'll tell you guys if I get fired, which could absolutely happen. But I'm super excited for that. I'm probably not getting my first paycheck until March, and so that kind of sucks. I'm okay. I'm okay. But yeah, so I'm excited. I figured I'd professionalize myself a little bit, get back into that kind of mode of being. And yeah, my hope is to still do on a lunch break or something, doing like an hour, half an hour of daytime streaming. We'll see how it goes, or at least do nighttime streams. I'm gonna try and not cut back too much. I'm gonna try to not like push forward too much, but I still really want to talk about politics because we had a lot of huge news. We have big news today. Nothing like drastic, but it is big news. The first like really important meeting with U.S. officials with Greenland, which seems to signal that the United States is wanting to go a diplomatic route for their goals. And I voiced in the past I disagree with Donald Trump's direction with Greenland. From my perspective, I believe that diplomacy around sort of the Arctic ice shelf and missile defense and all this other stuff, there's a ton of issues. There's a ton of issues that could potentially be impacted in Greenland. Um, and from my perspective, it's just no one's business. Like if it's a different geography, we should sort of dedicate ourselves to admitting that we have to find global solutions, and we have to find ways to phrase the United States' interests in a more worthwhile sense. Um, and yeah, yeah. But that's the artfulness. That's the artfulness of global politics, geopolitics, U.S. politics, all this kind of stuff. The artfulness is sort of, hey, what's up, Lux Carpi? 4231. Good to see you. Hello. The artfulness of, I think, U.S. politics is that, if you're only competing for yourself, but you claim to support democracies, and really you can go around the country, if you were running for office and you were to do a tour, let's just say you were to like do an electoral campaign with like Barack Obama or Kamala or something, you would end up talking to a ton of people that only want to talk about freedom around the world. People who say, yeah, I'm less about war, I'm more about freedom. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Hi, and wave. And this matters a lot because in a democracy, we should believe that the politics that we're pushing forward, when we do violent authoritarian things, when we do things that look like an empire, when we do things that appear only in the United States' interests and aren't helping our allies, aren't helping international systems, people should know about why. People should understand that. You need better things to do with your time. It's pathetic. Hey, what's up, Father Son 5907? Good to see you. Yeah, if there's a topic you want to discuss or talk about, I'm happy to hear it, happy to talk about it. Or not. We can avoid all that too. Do you like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker? Richard Ramirez had some creepy interviews. I don't think that when people are behind bars, I don't think we should judge them. My perspective is, um, I yeah, I think the thing that judging all of a person instead of just holding them up and saying, well, this Richard Ramirez guy had a fetish for hurting people, not that nice of a dude. Wasn't a friendly guy. Wasn't, he's one of those people that if you saw for the first time, your instinct should be run. Your instinct should be spend no time, tell them nothing, get out of that situation. And at the same time, like there are many famous convicted killers, serial killers, people who have done all kinds of bad things, who had friends, who had people they spent time with. And so I don't think we should judge people on all of a person for where they're from. I don't think we should judge people not just from where they're from, but what they did when they could be different. Oh, Cameron Flim's here. Where you been, brother? Hey, Vic. I haven't been streaming in a while. I did live streams the last couple days, mostly talking politics. If you guys want to try to make me conservative, make me more conservative than I am today, you can try. I'm a progressive Democrat, U.S. voter. We can talk religion and stuff, but I've just been, not to push it too forward, I've just been here hanging out and yeah. Yeah, thank you for standing up for me, Dr. Dead. I appreciate that. We've got Richie's Girl. I have a fetish for him, to be honest. Cool. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. People can see themselves all different types of ways. And so, everybody's welcomed here. Everybody is welcome on Duck's channel. Hey, Judia. Good to see you. We got Judia in the house. Everyone or someone, please give a shout out to Judia. And Marilyn's here. What's up, Marilyn? Mr. Palad. I look like Tim Tebow. I've been told I look like Tim Tebow before. I think, Tim Tebow really cut through a lot of American pop culture by being both a famous athlete, having famous moments on the football field. For people who know football, that big orange field, that big blue field, very noticeable, makes for great shots. And then Tim Tebow also put his Christian faith out front, which is just funny because, I don't think there's any there's no actual relationship in the universe between being a sort of a Christian, being a Christian and an athlete and not getting into trouble, right? You're in this high test environment. You're training more days out of the year than most people in high intensity environments, and you're competing. You're naturally competitive. You can also you could also just possibly be sort of a bad person, maybe have some bad proclivities, but athletes are generally focused on winning sports games. They're focused on the team and stuff like that. So for Tim Tebow to come out as a Christian and say, I'm going to be famous and be a Christian, it's like, I don't think you're doing morally good stuff. Not totally. Not totally. Make America straight again. Nah, make America queer normative again, dude. Ryan Rogers in chat. Let me know if you guys disagree. And yeah, everybody's welcome here. Even if, and in light of what I just said, even if you're MAGA, change my mind. I want to talk to you guys. If you guys are Make America Great Again, let me know why. But I'm a millennial. I grew up when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a military policy. I'm personally, I call online, I tell people I'm a queer, heteronormative guy. Just because I do believe that that sort of culture that emerged, that is able to take some of the sort of the absurdity of not just our gender and sex, but the absurdity of life in modern society and build community around it. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a story worth telling, and it's a story that is at the very, very least, at least right there next to us. It's no different than us. Hey, Lorenz, good to see you. What's your favorite historical political happening? So one of the craziest stories, and John Kiriakou was talking about this. So Iran's undergoing huge protests right now. People are upset about the economy. They're upset about the regime. The regime has been positioned as corrupt. It seized a bunch of assets. There's really high inflation. There's energy and resource crises. And for a very highly educated population, which Iran has, it's made very little progress. So your day-to-day in Iran and the most egregious issues you can think of in terms of human rights and civil rights are all boiling up right now. But historically, the Shah, so the regime before Ayatollah Khomeini, also cracked down on protesters. This was supposed to be a democracy, and instead of being democratic in any sense, I don't know if you guys are following this, but yeah, the Shah killed thousands of people, and so Khomeini comes in. You have millions, not hundreds of thousands. It's not a coup. You have millions of Iranians at that time oppose the Shah. People from all sectors of society. It is an Islamic uprising, but then after everybody says, let's get this guy out of here, we need to do the government again, then you have radical Islamist regimes, theocracies. At that point, you have a theocracy take over. So it's important to be transparent about that. Maybe it's the case that Iranians didn't always think and know, like the grandparents, the nonas and mimis and nonos in Iran. They maybe didn't all believe right away that we're going to be an Islamic state when they were college students and they were protesting this regime, when they were dreaming about what the world might be like. And then it ended up being a theocracy and very, very repressive, incapable of hearing other opinions. And so, Cameron, this is my favorite historical event right now because it actually mirrors what the Trump administration did. So what Khomeini accomplished in this conflict was he set up basically a parallel government. He said, you guys hated these. So you can picture that you guys hated SNAP. You guys hated Obamacare. You guys hated these security agencies. So we're going to set these all up and we're going to do these our way, right? So it sounds like Trump's takeover of ICE. It sounds like Doge. It sounds like, all this weird stuff Trump's doing in government. It is weird stuff. It's very weird stuff. And then 2 years after they oust this Shah guy in Iran, Iranians do, all of a sudden you have an Islamic State. All of a sudden, then you have the Iranian Caliphate. And yeah, the rest is history. In 1981, you have mass slaughter of civilians who were opposing Khomeini's political moves. And so what we would normally think of as free assembly and free speech, what we normally think of as peacefully conducting a democracy, by and large, ended up becoming the Islamic Republic. So very, very cool story, interesting story. Hey, Alexander Brown. Oh my gosh, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in so long because I haven't been live in so long. So super good to see you. Thank you for joining. Guys, if you want to say what's up, we got Judia and Alexander in the house. Andreas, your message got deleted, but no, it isn't. Just so you know. Are you sure you should be giving advice? You look like you need it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I was giving advice. If you want advice though, let me know what you want advice on. My top advice right now is that whatever if you're looking at the Trump administration, if you're looking at the right-wing politics of the day and you're saying, I'm going to compete with these guys or against these guys, you're doing something totally wrong. Don't engage, right? This is what I'm saying is if you pick the wrong thing that you're going to go after, if you're trying to find a way to be smart and you're like, I don't know, it's a freaking Wednesday, guys, and everyone struggles with this sometimes. Whatever. I can't open Wikipedia to save my life. I think it for you, it's only going to get worse. For you, it's only going to get worse. And it's a huge realization when you realize I can move everything back closer to me. I can move it back to my issues I care about. And I can plan how I engage these issues so I protect my brain. Our brains are fragile, everyone. The human mind, humans, you guys are so resilient. You guys are so smart. I don't need to tell you that you're smart because hopefully you already know. Hopefully you know that people love you, people that you don't even know, honestly. And I mean this, people on the insides love you. But I will warn you that the human mind is fragile. We have plasticity. We can learn. Our brain can do like party tricks, right? Parlor tricks. You can put a deck of cards on a cup and pour it out and pour the Guinness out and then you drink it or something. But yeah, all that stuff. Oh, what's up? Polygraph lie detector in the house, everyone. Single payer healthcare. Boy, I wish in a better world, I would be dreaming about single payer healthcare conversations right now. Do I love Israel? It's a weird framing of the question. I think that's why the mods deleted your comment. Someone asked, "Do I love Israel?" and it got deleted. So the question, I believe Israel is a state, and I believe that the Israeli people have a really unique political story. I love a lot of like Tel Aviv. I had a professor from Tel Aviv University. They had gotten their undergraduate and masters in Tel Aviv, and she was one of my best college professors. Very compassionate, very knowledgeable, very focused on students. Even though I was at sort of a research university, my school did some research, and so she spent her life teaching students like me. And so I love Israel the way I love anyone else, because Israelis are different than other people. If they are how they are, I love them for that. I don't love the war in Gaza. We got Don the Mandu, the Manduke, the Babadook. Hey, you're the Mandu, I'm the Babadook. So no, good to see you. Oh, and I see why. Okay, I am MAGA. I will read this. I am MAGA, and as a MAGA representative, I don't care if you're homosexual. Good for you. Live your life, enjoy yourself. Us Americans have a lot more in common than the mainstream says we don't fancy. Cool. I'm curious why you believe in Donald Trump then, because I think it's good that in 2026, not all gay and trans people think they're going to be on a list, although some people worry about it, but it's a lot of other people. There's a video of ICE going to this Vietnamese guy's house in Minneapolis. He's an American. So, I think if you believe in civil rights, you should also be opposed to MAGA. You should be opposed to the changes in the government and the people that are talking about those, that are supporting them. That would be my challenge to you. Without agreeing, I think it's a very heartfelt message that actually has entailments and implications to say, Donald Trump loves you, Donald Trump loves America, Donald Trump doesn't care if you're gay. To say that means you have to back that speech up. That means you have to be that person. I don't believe Donald Trump can do that. I don't believe I think anybody can look at like RFK and say, if I was to talk to him, I would say, look, I don't believe JD Vance. I don't believe RFK. I don't believe Pam Bondi. I don't believe any of these people can actually back up speech about unifying the United States. I'm not saying that, that's it. That's it. I'm not an expert at politics. I'm not a politician, but Minneapolis in the house. Too evil, too hope. I'm a little behind on chat, by the way. So hello, everyone who's joining. I'll scroll down a little bit, but you can tag me at DucksY if you want or need me to read anything. I'll say that one more time because I mean it. Tag me. It's just at DucksY if you want or need me to read anything. While I'm going through chat and saying hi to people, feel free to like and subscribe or don't. But it's good to see everyone. Being conservative here is interesting. I'd like to hear about that. I haven't met a conservative in a long time. To be honest, I'm guessing as a progressive Democrat, I'm more conservative than a lot of conservatives, than a lot of MAGA. I don't think it's conservative to give a president unilateral, non-monitored control over federal agencies, as well as allow Trump to make orders and demands of like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So as close as Donald Trump can get to the economy, he's picked winners in our economy. That's not conservative. Donald Trump has eliminated free trade. If you believe in people and individual values, that's not conservative either. The title of the stream, by the way, is try to make me more conservative. It's kind of a joke. I'm happy to I can chill out. I know I seem mad, but I'm happy to chill out. But if you can make me more conservative, change my mind. Tell me why Donald Trump hasn't picked winners. Tell me why it's okay that in reality, Donald Trump has picked winners. Tell me why Donald Trump is supporting individual values. Donald Trump has unified people under a single slogan called Make America Great Again. That is not about individual values. It's not about our cultural norms. I don't believe Donald Trump's a conservative, and you can call me ugly for it. I'm okay with it. Should Semites or Persians decide the future of Iran? Good principles of government should decide the future of Iran. Good principles of society, a good identity based on their borders, and a good cosmopolitan identity should determine the future of Iran. I don't believe that an authoritarian regime can tell people what the future is going to look like. You're not allowed to do that. That right now, that's what the Ayatollah and that's what Donald Trump, they're both doing it. That's also what the leaders in Israel that Benjamin Netanyahu has, he's cultivated these relationships over decades in government. He is an expert at government. He's also an expert at conducting campaigns of violence. So, he's one of those people that if you love democracy, you have to be distrustful of. You have to be distrustful of him. Hey, Stu. I'm going to zoom down just a little bit in chat, guys. So sorry if I miss you. My friend, hi, good to see you. Can you imagine a Christian politician running for office in an Islamic country? They would literally kill the person. Maybe in Tunisia is the example I bring up of a country that has just Tunisia, has a pretty pluralistic society. They accept a lot of people. That's what pluralism means. They're very accepting people. And so pluralism is ideology. It's also just kind of what like your political parties do, if that makes sense. But yeah, and so there's lots of places. You have Muslim politicians in Egypt and Christian politicians, I'm sure, probably Coptic Christians or something. I don't know. Indonesia is a weird one. They've been oppressive in the past to Catholics, but there are periods of times where Indonesia has a little more openness. So, a lot of times those countries that you're referring to are called nanny states. You're allowed to have freedom of religion, but you're not allowed to be free in society for religious purposes. What's your opinion of the recent footage that came out of the Stephen Hawking running on Epstein Island? I didn't see that video. I'm going to zoom down. Gary's a troll. Racism. Watch my magic amulet. Is that Gary Webb? Is that Gary Webb in chat? Are you an investigative journalist? No. But what's up to my conspiracy bros in chat? Why did you time out Gary? Gary was just hanging out, dude. Oh. Yeah. Gary got by me doing normie stuff, non-normie stuff or whatever, I think. I said Gary Webb. And so you still can't say the R word. You still can't say the R slur here. So yeah, we try to create an inclusive open space. And so, I don't totally disagree with Alexander's decision to time you out there. If the mods timed you out and you said something like the R slur, hopefully you still want to hang out. I want to talk and all that stuff, but yeah. Racism. Are you just here to troll? Oh, the victims cry fascist. Yeah, if you have arguments, Gary, if you're still here and you have arguments why the trajectory of the Trump administration doesn't resemble fascist governments, let me know. I'd like to hear it. I believe it's analogous. I believe it's important to be careful, but it's also important to be honest. And to me, honesty moves me to the side of the fence that the Trump administration does in some ways resemble what a fascist regime looks like. If you're a liberal, you're on the right. Being on the left is not a liberal value. If you mean like liberalism, like individual values, things like societies generally have a market and property rights in the center. We forget this, that we often, guys like Destiny, who some of you might be a fan of, some of you guys might not be, but not so erudite, all of these people that are on YouTube. But if, for a lot of the liberals in society, we forget that just talking about property rights is actually one of the main values that we typically have in a society. And we generally argue and bicker about it quite a bit. Like in the United States, what it means to own land, that was a huge issue for a long time. Not the role of landowners, but what's the actual process for being a landowner? What do you do when there's a dispute? What do you do with the resource rights and the land itself? And when those resource rights seem to entail across a boundary or something, like these are really sticky legal issues and they're about property rights. These aren't about capitalism. So I believe you can be a liberal and believe in aspects of democratic socialism. I personally believe in a robust social safety net, welfare states. To all the Skrillas and the $100 billas out there grinding, I see you. Not that every day requires us thinking about a social safety net, but I do hope that for people that are working hard and want to work harder, I think social safety nets are there for you. And I want it to remain that way personally. That's my belief. Trump's favoring Putin. Yeah, I think polygraph is gonna the left lies like they breathe. Yeah, we're gonna make like a super duper inclusive but strong space here or something. I don't know. No, but I want to talk to MAGA people, but I also want to know why I can't exist as a progressive Democrat. I'm not a weak man. I'm not a weak person. Um, I support I support politicians who support lots of issues. I don't cut myself off by saying I don't support trans issues. I don't cut myself off by saying I don't value and know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King. Who was it? Rosa Parks' counterpart actually just died, a great civil rights person. So you can Google that. If you Google civil rights death today on Google or something, you'll find something. The left hurts language. The left definitely can. That's become the politics of the day, is we're supposed to flip on our news and find clarity. And so at the end of the day, are they telling you something true? Are they talking to you about something that you would have cared about enormously or less so, or something like that? Like, my e-girl opinion is that I watched Aaron Burnett on CNN and Anderson Cooper when I was in college, when I was studying political science. And I felt CNN was fairly unbiased. They covered stories I cared about. They covered what I thought of as my interest as a voter or the US national interest. These were things I was learning about. And so I was trying to take away and say, well, is this going to be there in 10 years? Is this going to be there for my kids and your kids? Do we do diplomacy on this? Is there enough pressure for us to do that? Donald Trump's asked us to take that same sort of storyboard and run away with it. This guy's a cartoon character. He's a very scary, dangerous, in some ways competent cartoon character, but you actually give him the sticks, right? You pass him the controller or something. Don't give Donald Trump the sticks. That was mistake number one. Mistake number two was giving Donald Trump the sticks twice. Guys, risky. Okay, so Faraz, you're in, or you're from, or you're Persian or Iranian. I was talking about how Iran I was talking about Iran's history earlier, and so when you say liberate my home country, how many people in your country, I think a lot of people oppose the Khomeini regime, and while opposing the Ayatollah or whatever, a lot of people still say that many of Iran's problems will not be solved overnight. Iran will become another weak, poor, flimsy democracy if Trump just comes in tomorrow. And so the solution is to continue to pressure the Iranian regime. It's also to understand Iranian context and regional politics that have nothing to do with the regime itself and have everything to do with supporting the Iranian people. So you say liberate your home country. As an American, I'm somewhat confused, because why wouldn't I be right for saying support the Iranian people? I just didn't say liberate your home country. I mean, let me know why I'm wrong. You're offering like a question, a prescription for other people. So I feel like it would be more honest to tell us what you know. Tell us what you know. And yeah, by the way, Atheist Republic is a channel. Atheist Republic. If anyone's following the Iran issue, it has an Iranian host. Really cool guy. And he's been covering a lot of the protests. He's been talking through a lot of these issues. And so that's just a place some of you guys can go find news. I know it's hard to find those kind of places, but Rainbow Kitty Corns says about the sorry, I know the news is almost always biased. I want my rights back. That would make the rest of this presidency a little more bearable. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm so worried about the rights that have been taken away already. The processes that I would say the processes in place that seem to be eroding rights with no watchdog groups, no transparency, no oversight, and seemingly no care in the Congress, seemingly nowhere else for it to go except back down into the people. So I want my peace of mind. I'm sick of I look at this stuff, I look at this political process, and I tell you, I know wrong when I see it. I'm no expert. But I also know that we have been experts at running immigration enforcement in the past. And when I look at ICE, that's not it, folks. Heather Haraway has ops with me. So Heather Haraway says, you are too old to still be thinking this way. It's only excusable if you're 25 or younger. Yeah, please expand. I don't know what this way means. You said your actual words were this way. And so, yeah, tell me what I said wrong. Tell me what I should, what you want to talk to me about. Tell me what I can talk to you about. If there's something that is not allowed for me to talk about as a progressive Democrat or someone with some conservative leanings, but definitely not MAGA, definitely not this Make America Great Again nonsense. Why? Because Heather, I've read the book. I've got the book. I've listened to the guy. But please, if you're talking about something, tell me, elucidate. I cannot take the vagueness. Share your context, share your circumstance. Tell me what the state of affairs in the world is and let me work. Let me do my job up here while I'm on camera. Let me do my job. Let's give the people something to think about. Let's give the people something to talk about. Heather, you're a part of this. You're a part of this, and I appreciate you weighing in. I'm originally from Iran, but I live in the US now. Cool. Yeah, I worked for an Iranian guy based out of Sweden in the past, and so yeah, and so I think Iran is a difficult corner, a difficult part of the world geopolitically, and yeah, I just believe in supporting the Iranian people. It sucks to hear some guy in a just sitting in his nice house, with a fridge full of food. I just told people I'm starting a job tomorrow, or I'm supposed to be. I'll tell you guys if I get fired, but I've got all this cool stuff going on. I'm not rich, I'm not poor. I'm pretty poor, but in American standards, I'm very poor, but I'm not poor. And I'm telling you, well, it's just a hard part of the neighborhood. I honestly believe that, though. I'd rather have Americans that honestly believe that we should think about the context and circumstance that people are talking about. I'll preach at you guys all night too. I'll become the machine gun preacher. I'll tell you guys. No. I'll be more like Uncle Sam though. I want to recruit you. I want you to serve your country, not just the military, but more so, I want you doing public service, civil service. The attitude, those small moments you share with your neighbors in the United States tells people it's going to be okay. It tells people that we're more together than we are separate. It tells people that when we have enough, I can then go work hard for other people. This is what being an American is about. I can believe in the right system for people, even if I'm not a part of it. Even if it's not mine, I will take care of it like it is mine, because I understand what it's like to be well-to-do, to be well off, to be wealthy. I understand what it's like and what you do with your time when you have responsibilities. And so I want you, like and subscribe the video if you guys want, but more importantly, go out, right? It's like Fight Club. Go find a like 2-second moment with one of your community members that you have something in common. You guys have some common connection to a place 6,000 miles away, right? A plane ride away. That kind of stuff, it sounds so silly, but it's everywhere. Political science, yeah, Ned. I'm sure, yeah. If you guys know political science, I think you guys probably do know a little bit more than I do. And yeah, I was a poli-sci major. And I believe in the vision and mission of the United States. I believe we can and have been a force for good. But I think we're watching as Donald Trump leads us to the precipice of another great disaster, another act of empire, an act of, if you want to call it, neocolonialism. It's self-interest gone awry. It's not liberalism, it's selfishness. I'm going to zoom down. Hey, good to see you, 46MD. Donald Trump was elected by the same people of the United States. Your party has terrible policies, and you know it. Get over it, Skippy. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about not liking a person, or if you're talking about a difficult conversation or not liking being uncomfortable because Kamala Harris had different ideas, Joe Biden had different ideas. Joe Biden had what I believed was probably a peaceful meeting, not just with captains of industry in the shipping business, who are incredibly influential for the US's posture on Greenland, incredibly, hugely the biggest influence on our policy in Greenland by far. But I'll also tell you this, with President Xi in attendance of that meeting in San Francisco, you have the president of China, one of the largest, most powerful countries in the world, one of the most modern, technologically advanced, educated countries in the world, in China, who have enormous problems with authoritarianism, with poor populations, just like we do. I love President Xi. I love the guy. I don't know him, but I love you, brother. I love you. And as much as I can, I'll fight alongside you for peace if you guys decide to do that. And this, I'm sure Biden said something as much as this. I'm sure it was much closer to that than saying we need to go take over Greenland. We need to go take over Greenland. And so already I believe I see your guy. I see your guy, 46MD, is leading us to the brink of war again. He's committed war crimes with Venezuela. He's postured against the Colombian people. He's told people from Plano, Texas, and from Juneau, Alaska, and Boise, Idaho, they can put on their fatigues and they can go fight another war that we don't need. If he flies us too close to the edge, he's mobilized our troops to posture against Iran, not for the benefit of the Iranian people, but for his ego, for his image, not for strategy, but for his voters. This is not politics. This is not how politics is done. I believe the sane people in the United States have been saying the same thing. Sane, smoking on the same. Clip that up, baby. Hashtag clip. Exclamation point clip. Clip that up. Seriously, I want to see if somebody clip a moment. If we get someone in chat telling me that Donald Trump is more sane than the Democrats, I want to hear more from you. I want to see you, because there's a lot of people in chat. I think there's going to be enough people that disagree with that statement, that disagree with what you just said, that your party has terrible policies, and I know it, and Donald Trump was elected by the same people of the United States. I think you are competing over nothing, and you don't even know what you're competing about. So tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me what I can talk about. Oops. Trump would love to be a fascist. Yeah, I was talking about this earlier, not to repeat myself, but the Iranian regime change in 1979, the revolution, underwent this interesting motion. And this is regarding Trump following fascist sort of histories. And, it's not about what Donald Trump said in Great Again, because this doesn't look like a fascist writing this book. Sorry, I know I'm peeking out. Guys, here's Duck, here's Nathan. No, this doesn't look like a fascist writing a book, to be completely honest. But when you see that the legitimate revolution of Iran is ultimately co-opted by Islamic, theocrats, and they set up powerful government agencies alongside the government that ultimately take control. This sounds like what Tom Homan does. This sounds like how Pam Bondi operates. This sounds like the way that Kristi Noem engages her press briefs in the morning. This sounds like the way that when they take information in, they're there not to tell you the truth, not to keep you on the war path, on the right path, but to keep you from knowing the truth is the most important thing. Maybe I am wrong about that. Maybe not. I'm zooming down a bit, so sorry. You guys can tag me at DucksY if you want or need me to see something. Trying to keep up with everybody, but it's good to see you. Please do like, subscribe if you guys like the live stream format. I also post shorts. Yeah, Christy Nome's values and service. I'm sure some of these people would have been great bureaucrats, great administrators. Some of them probably would have been great leaders of agencies or something like this. I believe under the context and circumstance of Donald Trump posturing against the world, right? Like Scott Pilgrim versus the world. Like, that old, it's sort of like an anime, like neon colored style fight movie, kind of like an arcade fighter. But Donald Trump set up and postured against the world before he even got in office. That was his main plan, was to spin off of this, and I believe Donald Trump was going to try to unify the country under something worthwhile by starting with this message of violence, this message of war. And so Kristi Noem, what's her face, the press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, respect to them, obviously, respect to RFK, respect to these people. But I don't think they had anything else in their magic black bag. It wasn't one of those like never-ending bags a magician has. At the end of the day, it was really that Donald Trump was still doing what he talked about in 2016. And the way that what he realized was the way to do that was to make the world a more violent place, a less peaceful place, a less tolerant, a less accepting place, a place that inspires fear, a place where people are afraid to do hard things and to work hard and to take risks. What's the last risk you guys took? On both sides, right? I'm a progressive Democrat. When's the last time you said, maybe I can disagree with this person and I won't receive a hateful, violent, bullying response for disagreeing with someone? Come on, guys. Yeah, and Simon's right. The United States has never been like really kind to immigrants. There are programs all around the country, and there are pathways to both nationalize and get legal status, as well as there are ways to integrate into American society so your kids can go to school. So if you lose your job, you can find a new one. These are the things we should want for all people. And Obama did deport a ton of people. Many would say our ICE programs were working. Many would say the ICE enforcement was working. And the way I see it, I don't, it's just amazing to see. It's amazing to see how people simplify and lose sort of some of the passion they have for morality, for ethics. And what I see is conversation, to pursue a political goal. They lose reality is what happens. The left is radical. They're the rudest and most vulgar. They don't believe in God. Yeah. Hey, what you say? I don't consider myself a leftist. I am a secular atheist. Do you guys believe in the Tao Te Ching? Do you guys believe in Buddhism? I'm a former Catholic. For all the Christians in the chat, yeah, who knows? I was told to talk about how the God that created us, we don't really question it, and we'll see what he's done for the people. I was told Christians like that message, and you get to the New Testament and they say, hey, go back, it's obvious. And so, yeah, if that is a story that you have faith in or it brings you comfort, you have a heartfelt belief in, good for you. Good for you. I don't believe that looking at something that I'm able to understand, I don't believe in putting that on God. I don't believe that's how I would debate or explain my view. Even as when I was a Catholic, that's what I thought. That if I can understand something with a biology textbook, this isn't for God then. Obviously, guys. Hey, Aaron, is that me, Medler, or are you arguing with someone? Meddler. I have metal. I have metal, meaning I have a little toughness about my brain and my intellect, because I did do it myself. I'm lucky. I got a 4-year college degree, very good degree. I was part of the honors college, which meant I had challenging small classes, hard stuff, intellectually hard stuff. Both the volume and the concepts were, some of them were like graduate level. I did take one graduate level class in college. It was like a 501 con law class. Um, and then when I went back, I realized when I was in my 30s, I didn't know anything. So I went back and I improved. I upgraded my college education a second time. So I'm very lucky in that way. But that doesn't mean, I can guarantee you, if you don't have the same education I do, or you have more education, if you're trying to be nice or compassionate, you have something to add. You have something to contribute. There is so much that I can't do, even though I do consider myself having a little intellectual grit. No offense. Oh, you are a god. Good for you. No, I think, yeah, I believe, I personally think that what God is and has been is a totem or an impressa, a symbol. I believe God is, he's like a set of brackets in like code or mathematics. He's like a plus sign. I believe it's a name that we give for things that we want to understand, and maybe we do understand a little bit, but I don't believe that there's actually a supernatural or all of nature being out there. I don't believe all of nature is God. I believe all of nature is nature, and that's pretty awesome too. That's pretty awesome too. Yeah, thank you, Alex, for the diligent work. And for people that are being trolls, but you're not a troll, I don't think anyone is a troll, but I know what trolling is when I see it too. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for bringing what you got through your day with. Thank you for what you're bringing what you got gonna get through your day tomorrow with. I appreciate that. I believe that's honest. And thank you, Alex, for hanging out and trying to steer the conversation someplace a little bit productive, everybody. Titan Brew says, Dr. Medler, hormone specialist. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't I don't know what that means. That would probably, if I was just going to make it make sense, that would probably mean something different to me than it does to you. Most likely. Only financially capable people get care right away. Get over yourself. Yeah, the unfairness, so we only give the smartest people in society, the smartest and people that are good at acting like they're not smart, but actually really are. They're the only people that end up making $1 million in society, that pay off their houses. They're the people that get 1 million subscribers on Twitch or YouTube. They're the people that sell, top albums. You guys, a lot of people think that, like Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll was just this story of redemption or something. You can look up one of Jelly Roll's old videos from 10 years ago, and Jelly Roll's doing like rap with his friend on home video. And he's very talented. He's obviously had probably practiced thousands of hours rapping prior to doing like country music and kind of Americana style stuff. I'm not a huge Jelly Roll fan. I don't like the aesthetic style that much. I don't like the message, don't love the message. But Jelly Roll is like a professional entertainer. He has a millionaire mindset and he's a multimillionaire. He also got his criminal record erased. So, take from that what you will. Take from that what you will, guys. I think it is so selfishly as a streamer, I wish me and my friends got like more Patreon subscribers. I wish we got a couple bucks each stream. And people just wanted to support other people. Less selfishly, I just wish in the United States and all around the world, in the very rich Western world and countries that are quickly becoming wealthy or have some money, have extra, you have extra. I believe that we should build systems and build ways for people to work that that rewards creativity, that rewards people being themselves. And we shouldn't. I don't believe that there should be a stigma for being like super smart. And it's like, well, oh, now you get to go. You either get to be bullied, or alternatively, you get to go make $3 million in the next 2 years. I don't think those are the only two options. I think we should just be nice to people. My own opinion. If my 3-pound brain could fully comprehend God, he wouldn't be worthy of worship. Yeah, Simon. So that is Machiavelli too, Mr. Know-it-all here on this end of the camera. Machiavelli, Hobbes. This as the Catholic Church began splitting out, still very much ingrained in society, but as more tensions rose with the Catholic Church, this view of a mysterious God began even more so transforming to a personal God. And so you're talking about an idea, you're sort of actually putting yourself historically in like Sicily, which was also part of, I believe, the Spanish or Spanish Empire for a little while. All kinds of drama and stuff. This is back when Christians couldn't handle money. We had a mysterious God and a mysterious God king. Secularism is a mess. One of the biggest atheist channels got taken off YouTube. So I don't know the guy, Seth Andrews, but just as someone who sort of follows what's going on in streaming, someone, I don't know why I lost his channel, so I'm not going to talk about it, but Sudan's arguing with someone, but I don't know what country you're talking about, where when you say you're having problems, I believe that your context or circumstance needs a little more explanation. There's a lot that people can say about like the free movement of people. There's a lot people can say about the way their values penetrate a society. I think that's kind of what you're getting at, Sue, if I interpret you correctly. That, yeah, a traditional conservative, someone like John McCain, who you might know about, would have said that American values would support immigration enforcement because he was a Republican. He's in Arizona. He also would have said, because he's in a border state, he also would have said that, well, American values should be strong enough to permeate society. And so when you say we have a problem with illegal immigrants, I think what I hear is, how do we know? How do you and I know together that American values are strong enough to keep people away from crime, to keep people's natural rights and liberties protected? All people. How do we know we're able to listen, and how do we know we're able to actually make actionable and do something with people's hopes and dreams? Please leave gender affirming care to medical professionals. Binary void. I will defend people bullying like a group, like generically someone saying, what is a woman? What is a woman, everybody? Can you tell me what a woman is? Can you tell me what a woman is? I will take those kind of conversations and debates on if I'm doing like whatever different stuff, but I'm not a molecular biologist, nor am I a clinician, so I don't do any of the other stuff. Canada, your dad is a woman. Aaron, bro, are you transgenre? I believe in transhumanism, Carmen. I believe in transhumanism. I don't believe I like trans identity. I'm not like saying that we should be androids. That's nowhere in my head. But I believe people should be able to introduce themselves. I don't patently see something wrong with buying your daughter a Barbie doll or something. I also don't see that it should be determined that for 16 years of every American daughter's life, they get a Barbie doll. So somewhere closer to the center, I think. I'm zooming down a little bit. Sorry if I miss you, miss anything. Whoops. Canada asked if we knew what a woman is. What's your opinion on what's happening in Iran? There's a complete communication shutdown for 7 days now, and reports of more than. Yeah, so what the Islamic regime has been doing most recently to manage the conflict is they're splitting off the reasons for people protesting and how they categorize protesters. And the people like Efren Soleimani, I believe I'm saying his name right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who's been sentenced to death for a protest arrest on, I believe, January 8th. He was convicted of a Sharia crime of conspiring against God. So basically, conspiring against Islamic values or God's will. However, that's actually elucidated within an Iranian court. So this is a jurisprudence. This is Sharia jurisprudence, and it is how Iranian courts work. So I don't believe that's just when we say, well, there's two different groups of people here. The two classes of people we have are people committing crimes against God and the Ayatollah and the correct caliphate here on earth. And then there's people not doing the political order with legitimate economic grievances. And so with public discussions, Iranian officials rallying around these two issues, they basically said, look, if you're complaining about the economy, you're complaining about how we're spending money, that's something Iran's able to talk about. We're not able to talk about the regime changing. And so this is maybe one microcosm of like what's going on in Europe, what's going on in the United States, where we say there's some conversations that you're just not allowed to talk about them. You know, you guys remember Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk told people he was debating, you're not allowed to tell me that trans people exist. You're not allowed to tell me that America isn't a Christian nation. You know, this is what Charlie Kirk did when he went to college campuses. Charlie Cook. Yeah, Aaron says Charlie Cook. Yeah, so rest in peace, Mr. Charlie. You know, what was I talking about? I got distracted by chat. Yeah, I would debate in front of a live audience. I'm a confident public speaker. And I think the challenge of having people in front of you and alongside you and being able to disagree and also find common ground, find things that we can talk about and see if there's a better way forward. To me, that's inspirational. To me, that's a great challenge. So I don't put myself as, I'm like obviously not Charlie Kirk, but I'm not like less of a person than he is. Hopefully people agree. I don't think anyone is less than I don't think a trans person or Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was less of a person than Charlie Kirk. That's basically what he said his whole career. These people, I don't like their story. You're less of a person than I am. That was the Charlie Kirk process. But yeah, you know, that's snowflake society. I forgot what I was talking about, but that is snowflake society when you regulate what people can say. And when you lack the courage, you lack the mettle, you lack the ability to self-correct, as well as the ability to have some self-care and self-love, your ability to take care of your own brain and beliefs and stuff like that. And so you regulate what other people are allowed to say. That's messed up. Yeah, for people that are afraid to speak in front of a live audience, look, it's weird. You know, sometimes I get nervous before I hit that go live button on YouTube. It's not necessarily that I want to let you guys down or I'm going to look like an idiot or a fool of myself. Sometimes just doing a very big thing causes, for not any specific reason like you think it is, some anxiety. And so for people that are either doing job interviews or you're talking to customers, maybe you're like nervous whether or not you can do a customer service job and you're wondering like maybe that's a start of a career or that is the career. My main recommendation, um, is that bringing a little knowledge, bringing a little sort of preparedness, having a script of what you want to say, um, and then just realizing that, there's going to be at least one person that responds to your message positively. You don't have to know what everyone's going to think. But yeah, there's introverts out there. I tend to be a little more extroverted, even though I'm not like super socially skilled. You guys may have noticed I'm not like the most socially skilled people. You guys are probably way better at that than I am. Um, but I'm really good at presenting arguments. I'm generally good at being persuasive if I can be. I'm generally good at understanding what people are trying to say, even if I'm not that good at navigating the actual social context for those discussions. And so I'm 36 years old. It's taken me 36 years to understand that, this is just the skill set I have today. So people that are nervous doing public speaking, or people that are afraid of looking like an idiot or looking like a fool or whatever it is, you guys tell me. What would we talk about? Take control of that conversation. Go ahead. Take control of that conversation, everybody. I wonder where, someone said, I wonder where dinner is. I don't know, guys. If you guys want, like and subscribe. Don't worry about it though. It's also good to see some of you guys. I'm gonna try to get to know some of you. What about book bans? Yeah, I'm hugely against book bans. I got J.K. Rowling's come under some fire recently because she shared some pretty nasty beliefs, but I've loved Harry Potter. And I remember I think my Catholic school. So Catholics were generally when I was growing up, Catholics weren't lunatics. So people that are maybe a little left leaning, a little center, and say, well, where's the least crazy corner of society that I can go hide in? Catholics used to be not crazy about some things, but then they would just like ban books. They used to be pretty tolerant. They wouldn't like freak out if you disagreed with like a Catholic teaching or something. It wasn't like you had to go make friends only with Catholics. That would have been a very weird thing to do. But then they would freak out and like ban books or something. Like they would ban Harry Potter for it being like too satanic or against the gospel or something. Okay, I understand like sort of if that's the crazy thing you're going to do, but Jesus is coming. Aaron's getting a couple shots in on Charlie Kirk. You don't know the gospel. Yeah. Without preaching, feel free to enlighten me on the information or happenings of the gospel. Either one of those. If you're courtside with the Knicks or the Nets or something like that, I want the information. I want to know the score. I want to know how many points, Keith Van Horn or LeBron James has. But the other thing I want is the happenings. I want to know the big plays, right? So give me the highlight reel. Give me the information and the happenings on the gospel. What I don't know. For I am short in stature or something. Jesus wept, the shortest verse of the Bible. Jesus wept. I don't know what that means without preaching. Yeah. I don't know. If you want to quote a verse, I can read it or something. I'll read it in pidgin. Pidgin English. Gospel flavored autism is a solid mix. Yeah. Who knows? All kinds of emergent fungi from stories and narratives. But yeah, I'll tell you guys, I think for neurodivergent people, I'm sure some people have like good online circles and stuff, but it's been brutal because everybody makes ops with you if you just hold a different opinion or disagree with them. And you guys have no clue how easygoing I could be. Personally, my own belief and opinion is that like, if it's not about like civil rights, if it's not actually about like constitutional rights, I'm probably not going to go protest, right? Like, But when it is about civil rights and stuff, and when there's also violent speech backing the story and the narrative, and you're supposed to hold on to all these people and names and places and times and events that happened, dude, it's just like, come on, man, you know? That's from 18B Scrub. I'm so peeved with Florida. I know it's been a month since they painted over the memorial, but it makes you mad. Yeah, that's I don't know who would have it in their heart to go do that. I don't know who would have it in their mind to go do that. Yeah. Probably a person would do that. Yeah. Who knows? You guys don't know. There are both hateful people, and there's also people who have a little switch in their brain that just goes the. There's not something wrong with them. There's just a switch in their brain that goes slightly in a different direction. There's both kinds of people. There's hateful people, and there's people whose brains just work a little different. And so you get people who, for whatever issue, whatever reason it is if you love it, they might oppose it. There's people that, for really not that much of a rational reason, oppose stuff in general and stuff like that. Our fascist governor here in Florida did that. All kinds of people. Sexual perverts shouldn't be praised. Is it okay to share more of your shorts? They're really good. Yeah, if you want. Thank you. Please don't. I like talking to you guys, but YouTube at the end of the day, just to be honest, is also a commercial opportunity for me, right? So if you guys want to share my stuff and help the channel grow, I always appreciate it, but don't feel obligated. If you guys believe in the positive message that I'm trying to bring and stuff like that, that's cool. So appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Rick Scott, Titan Brew. I don't know if you've seen Rick Scott in the old Florida governor, I believe. But Rick Scott in Congress has been absolutely sort of wild. He's been a wild man during congressional testimonies, because I don't think Rick Scott is actually as deluded as all of MAGA. I think he's more pragmatic, is my read on Rick Scott. Maybe he actually is as brainwashed as he appears and as he sounds when he talks about long-standing political, social, environmental issues that we have in the United States. But he also seems like if he was not supporting like this MAGA message, that he would be someone that you could actually still work with pretty well. Yeah, I think he would agree with that too, more or less, apparently. There's no white folks in the Bible. You guys know what Mel Brooks taught us. He said, "Hey, where are the white women at?" Classic Mel Brooks, everybody. Blazing Saddles, anyone? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry, that was inappropriate. We need the Trump dynasty until 2060 with John Jr. serving as that's to me is a horrifying idea. Trying to understand what Donald Trump and MAGA has already done. By being ineffective, what has been accomplished or not accomplished by the Trump administration. And so me opposing your desire is me voicing my political belief. I don't want to voice my political belief that way, right? I don't care. I don't personally, as a voter, your opinion of wanting a Trump dynasty, I don't care about that totally. If you want Duck Dynasty, and yes, my name is DucksY on YouTube, do like and subscribe. I'm for a Duck Dynasty on YouTube, guys. I'm not for a Trump dynasty, though. Ow. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's only been 11 months. I think he's doing a great job. Oil up, bro. Hey, what's up, Triangle Square? You got a little quirk in you? What are we doing? Are we wrestling? Are we seeing where we're all at? Are we getting after it? Let's go, folks. Let's go get some. Let's go get it. Let's go. All right. Super sick. In my opinion, Donald Trump is still doing what he did in 2016. He's doing what he did before. Trump loves the camera. Trump doesn't have a plan. Trump does what Trump wants. I don't consider myself part of whatever he's talking about. Those aren't my values being represented. I'd recommend you guys demand politically that your values are represented. We all live in a society, and so the most important part is that, I don't get to win every fight politically if it is a fight. But I do ensure that my voice is heard and that we're having the conversation, because that is what a society is. When we don't do that, we're doing something else, and I don't do that other thing. I only do the one thing. I live in a society. Tell me I live someplace that's not the United States then. Tell me I live someplace else. The left doesn't deserve Cootie Queen 85. I don't know what you believe rights are. Not for insurrectionists. That's not citizens, so you don't believe the left are citizens. I don't know what that opinion or idea is. I wish I could open up my political science textbooks with you. I wish I could open up some of my political theory books with you. I wish I could understand why you would say something that appears angry. And there's a lot of hateful people in the world. And Cootie Queen, I wouldn't necessarily, just from that statement, say you're a hateful person. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, that's harsh. That's harsh though, because those are people that I know. So like, when you tell me that people that I know and that I care about, and whatever the left is, I don't know what the left is totally, to be honest. I know who Bernie Sanders is. I know who AOC is. I know Bernie Sanders and I know AOC and what they vote for and what they speak about. But those are people that I know. What would I just tell, like, if my mom votes Democrat and you want to throw her in jail for voting Democratic? You sound like you are a supporter of Nazis, Cootie Queen, and you're representing MAGA when you say something like this. I don't think people should be warned. I think you should just be aware of what you sound like when you speak, and not just what you sound like, but you should be aware of psychologically how someone responds when you say, "I'm going to take your rights away." That doesn't make any sense. In the United States or wherever you are, I don't know if you're talking to me in the United States, but wherever you are, you're going to say something about anyone's society. You're going to wish someone's sons and daughters don't have civil rights. Really? That kind of pain you're wishing for someone? That's insane to me. That's a bunch of bullshit. You know what? That's a bunch of BS. That's hateful. Yes. All right, cool. That's incredible. That's crazy. That to me that statement, it's crazy because I will never understand that type of sliding around, baby. Wow, that's insane. That is nothing that I'm familiar with. Do you guys like homemade potato chips? I made potatoes yesterday. I had russets. What was I doing? Whoops. I had Cootie Queen, you're gone from the channel, so thank you. But yeah, I made potato chips. It was very indulgent, but it's one of those affordable foods that people all around the world can eat. Hey, Slime Imraid. Ketchup is good. Trump is violating your rights, no one else. Trash troll Reg. Got ignored. I can see your old messages, Eclectic, so let me go see. Let me go see what I ignored. Do you believe in women's rights? Do I believe in women's rights? You're asking if I believe in women's rights. I believe in rights. I believe that there is such a thing as a woman in a society. And so if you're talking about delineating rights separately, um, or what information we use to create laws around like women's health issues, or if there's conversations that have to be held with like insurance companies. So there's actually lots of things like employment law and things like this. Yeah, I'm an informed person. So if I have information that's going to help me act in the world, I believe I'll get a more competitive and a better outcome because of those things. I don't believe that makes something worse because I know how to do something I should be doing better. So, yeah. Jay Leblon says, I believe in women's wrongs. Yeah, so I do believe in women's rights is the simple answer. I'm just asking about basic rights. I don't think the conversation you're looking to have is how I would have it. That's maybe my problem or the difference. That's the difference that I would say is that like a great way to talk about women's rights is to learn about Ruth Bader Ginsburg's career, as well as learn about the actual legal challenges to the way that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the notorious RGB Supreme Court justice, served her career on the bench, right? That is one way to learn about women's rights. It's not about intersectionality. It's not about like critical theory extending to women in different places in the world. It's not about women as religious minorities or any of this other stuff, right? All the stuff that you could say, but it is about like American history. And so I don't see it as like, to me, I don't see it as like, well, the right has a problem with it. How so? The right has a problem not feeling like their world is going the direction that they want it to go in, which is wrong, right? That is what, if you just said that I want the world to go some direction and I'm competing to make it go that way, and I don't care about who gets hurt on the way, not really anyways. Can I do it? Yeah, I can. To me, that is like, that's not being opposed to women's rights. That's being opposed to things that aren't your idea in the first place. What is hateful? I believe hateful is lacking compassion. I believe hateful is what dissolves in the face of love. I believe hateful is those things that only have material descriptions without being understood. Compassion is generally a term to mean this sensing or feelingness and understanding about what someone else either experiences or does or thinks or goes through. So it can be a lot of different things that mature adults and humans are very capable of being compassionate, just in the same sense that we're capable of competing with others, we're capable of being compassionate and understanding things. I generally think of compassion as something you do in a particular case of what someone goes through. So, for example, someone says, I spent 20 years in prison. If I'm compassionate, I would say, wow, 20 years in prison. You spent 20 years in prison. That's crazy. I don't know what that's like. I did not spend 20 years in prison. A hateful person would say, well, where the plug at? Did you get your GED yet? I believe that is a form of hatred. That is a form of hatred. Yeah, the Dunning-Kruger effect. What is Dunning-Kruger? Is that Dunning-Kruger is like some specific psychology result that's always applied to people thinking they know or can do more than they actually can know or do, or something like that, isn't it? I believe, folks. All right. I like Phil Bro Garbage. Oh, this is fake Socrates. This is real or fake Socrates. So now anytime someone isn't compassionate, it's hateful. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically the truth. You say that like incredulously. But like if I have the ability to influence or have power over another person, my decisions impact another person. Let's say I'm making your time card at work and I need you scheduled or something. Um, and I say, well, not just for Reg, but for all of my employees that I'm going to, me, the guy talking, I'm going to schedule. I'm just not going to listen to their time off requests. This is me being hateful because it's not about me knowing you deeply. But if I'm a manager and I'm a good manager and I'm in the United States, so I should be I should be one of the best managers in the world because it's like an old economy or whatever. I should say, well, look, if I'm doing time cards, this is an hourly job. It's not a totality. Some people will take advantage. Other people want to support the company, and I can have opportunities to make our company policy more clear. I have all these reasons to be compassionate about what you're asking for, even if I don't do what you want to do. So it is hateful. It's hateful to just do the thing that you're going to do because it's competitive for you. That is selfish, egotistical, hateful, and narcissistic. That's what that is. It's not compassionate. It's hateful. Come on, bro. Thank you, Mike. I don't know if you're encouraging me or disagreeing, but yeah, I'm sick. I'm sick. Okay, this is what I said. I created a post on my Patreon because Patreon you can do like newsletters and stuff. I'm not trying to pitch you guys on joining my Patreon, but I don't know why I came out like that, but this is what I said in that post. I said it's a new year and we're seeing the same political faces, the same voices, the same issues, and the same problems in society. I think this is a product of hatred. From my perspective, it's a product of a lack of compassion. Why is it the case that people who have tried and failed to solve America's and the world's problems are still the ones trying to solve America's and the world's problems? Why is it the case that problems that we have that we believe we can work on have gone under the rug? Why is it that we're hearing the same talking points and things going in the same direction when we know these things don't make progress that way? Where in the world is this happening? As an American, I should be able to ask, why is this happening in the United States? Why are we committing this grave injustice against democracy, which impacts other people? I'm sick of the same people, the same political issues, the same bad outcomes, and the same form of violent, hateful rhetoric, the same violent, hateful measurements of what happens in society, the same people, the same voices, same issues over and over and over again. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to learn another Trump, always Trumper name. I don't want to hear another MAGA Trump admin name. I don't want to hear another of Trump's ops. I don't care. I truly don't care. Do you know how much I care? I care absolutely zero, nothing, zero, folks. All right, guys, I'm going to take off for the night. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Hey, Average New Yorker, good to see you. If you see Spike Lee at a Knicks game, let him know Duck says hi. Ulysses. Yeah, thank you, everyone, for joining the stream, the live stream. Nope, open rope, nope, kind of dope, dab. Yeah, we dab on that, guys. But good to see you. I do have some work tomorrow. Wish me luck. It's supposedly my first day at this job. That's why I got the haircut and everything. So I gotta go do that. But I'll try and go live tomorrow for some of you guys. If not, yeah, go do something else on the internet. This is a weird little cesspool we have here. Yeah, a total weird cesspool here. And so I'll see you guys on either my next live stream or sometime in the next couple weeks or whatever. And yeah, take care. Bye. Thank you.